Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Um, so I talked about setting up challenges for you and getting to explaining how you can see the morals and values in other people without having to have a discussion about it. I think that was one of my biggest things when I first started on this journey to love myself and my true authentic self was one of my biggest, sorry, my allergies are horrible right now. One of my biggest problems on there was I was starting to see it. Like I said in other videos, it was like this big neon sign, whoa, and I would start to see it, but I kept wondering, how am I gonna know? And I kept asking that same question over and over again. How am I gonna know from the beginning so I don't have to get too far emotionally involved and then walk away? And I just kept asking this question over and over again. And here's how you know, by what they're gonna say. So there was a gentleman that I met. We started talking. He was a very nice guy. He was good looking, and his name was Dante. He had moved here. He was originally from Wisconsin, so we kind of connected on that aspect. And we would talk, and we thought there was a lot that we thought the same on. I was a little bit more open-minded than he was. But there would be points in our conversation that he would make comments about his sister's fiance, is driving a nice car and everything else and doesn't do anything. My sister works her butt off and she gives everything to him and even pays his child support. And then he would say immediately right after, well, I should be mad about it. He goes, but there's a part of me that's jealous. I appreciated the honesty, and the honesty was important, but he just kind of told me how he thought, didn't he? If that's his wish, is to be able to mooch off of a woman, is that not what he was saying? And I didn't take it to heart the first time that he said something like that. The conversation, we probably talked for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like I said, I don't make it past 2 weeks. So the more we would talk, excuse me, the more I would hear him say things to that extent. Excuse me. I would hear him say things to that extent. And the more that I heard it to that extent, the more I realized, wait a minute, this is a tell. This is what I've been looking for and I've been questioning all this time. So, like when I was telling you the story about Jeff the other night that I met, and we were having a great conversation, and he was a nice looking guy, right about my age, and all of a sudden he tells me that he's going through a divorce. You have to set up within yourself your own boundaries of what you will accept and what you can't accept. And those boundaries have to be who you are. You have to be able to, when that boundary comes, you have to be able to speak that boundary. And you have to be able to walk away if that's a necessity. Now, you don't have to run around telling people your boundaries. But if they're crossing one, you can gently tell them, look, I don't have a problem having a conversation with you, but if you're going to yell and holler and scream and call me names, I don't want to deal with you. You can refrain from that stuff, then I don't mind talking to you. That doesn't mean I'm having a relationship. It doesn't mean that there will be a relationship. It just means that any form of communication in any way, shape, or form is only going to continue if you can keep yourself in check from talking to me like that. And at that point, you don't have to say it mean or anything else. They get it. They know it. These people who talk, who act like this, and it's all insecurity, really it is. They don't love themselves, and they haven't found their true authentic self. That's really what this all comes down to. They don't have that. And they're not searching for it. Instead, misery loves company. So they just want to keep you there because they're terrified of you growing, and I'm not. I think part of it, deep down, and they may not even realize it, is they're afraid to change. And they're afraid that if they still are in any type of relationship with you, friend, family, anything, they fear that they're not going to measure up. There is no measuring up. This isn't a competition. We're all individual, unique people. Why would we want to be exactly the same? That would be very boring. That's why I don't get into the whole politics and the rest of it, because all of that's about essentially conforming and being the same. I don't want to be the same as everybody else. I want to be my unique individual that I am, and I embrace that, and I think everybody else should too. We live in a lot different world if people embrace that instead of trying to conform to what society and everybody else says they have to be. And you get there by living through your heart, not your mind. So people will tell you who they are. You'll get glimpses into it by things that they say. And those things are going to register with you because instantly, once you have your boundaries set and what you can and cannot tolerate, at that point, when something pops up that goes against one of your boundaries that you've set for yourself, it pops up instantly. Whatever thoughts you were thinking of potential or we get along or whatever, or this would be a great friend, automatically that all just goes away, because at that point you know that they're not going to fit into your life because they're going to cross that boundary. And they're not necessarily going to do it on purpose on their end, but if you don't have a current relationship with them, why would you waste your time just to cause yourself your own heartache? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. So the biggest thing is to have your own boundaries. Boundaries, and I know there's all kinds of books and everybody else talks about boundaries. To me, boundaries just naturally start to come once you find your true authentic self and you learn to love yourself. Your morals, your values, your boundaries all just kind of, they just fall into place once you love yourself and find your true authentic self. You don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it like the self-help industry tries to tell you. All you got to do is learn to love yourself and find your true authentic self, and that stuff just comes. You know instinctively what you will and will not tolerate, what you are capable of overlooking, what you are not. I would like to say we never have to overlook anything, but you have to understand that nobody is perfect, and that when it comes to love, real love is unconditional. It's unconditioned. There are no conditions set on it that say, I will stop loving you if you do this, or I will stop loving you if you don't do this. That's conditioned love. Unconditional love means that there's going to be flaws, and there's going to be idiosyncrasies and all kinds of other things that your potential relationship, friend or family or significant other, doesn't matter, is going to have, that you're going to have to overlook, especially if you're looking for love, because unconditional love means you love the good, bad, and ugly, for lack of another way to put it. So you tend to, your morals and your values and your boundaries just come, and you don't let yourself get far enough, because once a boundary or moral or value doesn't meet up, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't a potential, and you move along. That way, then you never get emotionally attached, and you never get to the point of being hurt and heartbroken. Until, and I can overlook a lot of things, but there are certain things that I will not overlook, and those would be my boundaries. And until that man comes into my life, I have absolutely no desire to date. If a man shows up that can fit and bring something to the table with the same compatibility with morals and values and decent boundaries, I'll give it a shot. But until a man like that shows up, I'm not dating. But you don't know if that man shows up unless you start to talk to him. And that's why your boundaries, your morals and your values, you're gonna see it by the things that they say. And it's going to instantly take your emotions of, oh, hey, this guy could be a potential, he's nice looking, he's hitting on me, alright, I could hang out with him and see. The minute that they say something that goes against your morals, your values, or your boundaries, automatically that thought leaves your head and you immediately lose all interest. Because you're like, yep, nope, that's not going to work. There's no point in going down that road. And you don't have to trust the other person. You have to trust yourself. And getting to trust yourself requires you to love yourself and find your true, authentic self. Growth is always going to be something we're going to have to do our whole lives. However, we need to get to our true, authentic self and loving ourselves. And then our morals, our values, and our boundaries, just, they're there. You don't have to search for them. You don't have to look. You don't have to read a bunch of books. You don't have to write a bunch of journals. You don't have to do anything. You literally, it just shows up once you get to your morals, or once you get to your true, authentic self and loving yourself. So, pay attention to what the people are saying around you. But this stuff will be blatant, and all of your senses will work. Your instincts will kick in once you have your set boundaries and your morals and your values. And you won't feel bad about it or think, oh, maybe I should give him a chance. At that point, you know this person is not going to bring to the table. Why waste your time? Somebody will come to the table. And I'm not saying, there's slight differences that you can deal with, but I don't want to deal with somebody who's going through a divorce. And I don't want to deal with a man who thinks that he's going to come with me and I'm going to work my butt off and he can sit on his ass. I don't think so, man. The man that comes and wants to be with me is going to understand that he better work as hard as I do, if not more. Because I may be tiny, but I'm not a weakling. I have no problem. And, well, you guys know it if you watch my videos. I got no problem getting out there and getting greasy and dirty and whatever else. None of that bothers me. So, I expect a man that's going to bring the same thing to the table. And when they show me these things, I'm like, nope, those are things I'm not going to deal with. Now, there are other things, say that they've fallen on hard times or whatever. And, everybody falls on hard times and they're staying with a friend or a relative. And, they're getting back on their feet. I can still talk to that person, and I can talk to them for the one reason. As long as I'm watching them move towards getting themselves out of that situation. It may take a bit of time, but as long as I can see them with forward movement, then I know that they're being honest to their word. So I can have a conversation with them. I can, we can move forward. If at any point they show that they're, and that's going to be shown pretty quickly, that this is their lifestyle, because you're going to be around them. They're not going to have the funding to take you out. So whoever they're staying with or whatever, you may end up meeting that person pretty quickly, and then comments will be made, and then you can ask the person that you're, talking with or whatever about the situation and get more of the story. And then from there, you'll know. Because the feelings will instantly go away when it crosses your boundaries, your morals, or your values. Instantly. Like I said, I haven't made it past 2 weeks with anybody that I've been chatting with over the past, 2 2 years. It doesn't last long. There was one that it lasted for about a week, and then I didn't hear from him for a couple of months, and then he hit me up again, but he was a swinger and I wasn't. So that was never gonna work. And I have nothing against that lifestyle, so that's what you choose. But anyways, so the challenges this time are not going to be weekly like we did before, and where you're going to necessarily incorporate, you may incorporate other people into some of the challenges that goes, but they're going to be longer term goals. And as soon as I hear from some of you on any changes that have occurred in your life just because of a simple thing, a simple challenge that you've been doing daily, repeatedly, then I'll bring out the next challenge. So the first challenge that I'm going to give to you is change one thing every day. Not different things, one thing that you are going to change, and you're going to make sure that every day you do it. An example would be, you don't make your bed. So you're going to get up every morning, and before you leave your house, you're going to make sure that your bed is made every morning, every day, no matter what. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Or say that you know, you don't do the dishes every day, and sometimes they get piled up. I'm horrible for that one. You're going to make a commitment to do it every day. Every single day. One thing. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be major. Just one little thing that you're going to change in your day-to-day life that you're going to do every single day. And as soon as you all start sending me some comments telling me the change that you see, because I know what change you should be seeing at this point, because I actually did this years ago. So when you start sending me the comments or messages letting me know the change that you have noticed since it, then I will come back on here and give you the next challenge. Because these challenges are going to, they're going to force you to grow. The other challenges that I gave you were literally to take you outside your comfort zone and to kind of open your mind on how you think. These ones are going to help you grow. Mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And they're really, really simple challenges, but you have to commit every single day. And eventually you will see a slight difference. And then as we bring in the next one and the other ones and the other ones, you'll start to see. And when we go back over the beginning of this series, you're going to look back and go, holy crap, I've come so far. And then I will tie in how the other challenges worked with this challenge. You got to take yourself outside of yourself in order to come back inside of yourself and grow. So, your challenge is to pick one thing to do every single day. Make your bed. Say that you have pets and you only pick up your yard, the poop in your yard from your dogs once a week. Do it every day. Do it in the morning. Do it after you get home from work. Do it before bed. Do it whenever. But once a day. Anything. You can change anything. But it cannot be something that involves another human being. This is you. And only you. Something you change. You don't have to tell anybody you're changing it. You don't have to get on anybody else's case and expect them to do this. This is yours. And it's one thing that you're going to do differently every day. Say you come home from work and you bring your lunchbox home from work and you usually just leave all your crap in it. And then in the morning or before bed, you're rushing around to clean it out so it'll be ready for the next day. Instead, make a commitment that the minute you get home, you're going to address the issue. So then it's over and done with. Those are the types of challenges. Those are the types of things that you can do that are slightly different. And you have to do it every day. So as soon as you start seeing some sort of progress, shoot me a message. Let me know what's going on, and I will gladly discuss it with you, and then we can move on to the next challenge. So I hope you have a good time with that challenge. And just so you know, once you get to your authentic self and love yourself, no matter what happens, you're still going to have moments of sadness and irritation. But you take power and control over that a hell of a lot quicker, and it doesn't keep you down. So here's to you growing. Enjoy the challenge. Pick one thing that you need to do every single day. One little thing. That's it. You don't have to tell nobody. Nobody else has to do it. If it gets messed up during the day, you're not there, it's no big deal. This is strictly for you and only you. And you'll see why as we go. Alright. Bye guys. Love ya.